Hello there, thank you so much for joining us on Joy Asonye Live. It's a beautiful, beautiful Thursday, and I'm sure that you're still enjoying that air of festivity from the Christmas. Some of us just have not been able to recover. It was indeed a Christmas to remember. In spite of the economic challenges, we still try to make it work, especially with family, and I hope you too had a wonderful time. Unfortunately, in spite of this celebration and this period that we tag of love and peace, there were pockets of violence, one that the nation is still struggling to come to terms with, especially one that happened in Plateau State a couple of days ago. That's at the eve of Christmas, where it is recorded that we have about 195 people killed, several houses razed, and so many people, others injured. But that conversation is out again. How can we get sustainable peace in Nigeria? How can we get young peace ambassadors, young people to be peace ambassadors preaching peace? That's what we'll be discussing on today's edition of Joy Asonye Live. In the studio with me to do justice to this is a peace ambassador. He's been doing his bit with summits and engagements to ensure young people know that it is within them to get this much preached about peace. I have in the studio Jeremiah Agala, Peace Ambassador. Thank you so much for being part of the program.
It's a privilege being here. Compliment of the season.
Compliment of the season. Compliment of the season. You look Christmassy, whatever that means. But we'll go for a short break to return to discuss more on this issue and concept of peace and getting sustainable peace in Nigeria. We'll be right back. We have a peace ambassador right here in the studio, Jeremiah Agala. Again, thank you for being part of this program.
Thank you so much for having me.
So let's go first of all to the unfortunate thing that happened in Plateau State a couple of days ago. First, how did it make you feel when you read about what happened and listened to people tell you my entire family is indeed gone from this incident? It is condemnable. All the strongest word I can really summon at this point, I indeed would use it. But how did it make you feel?
Thank you so much for having me. My heart indeed goes out to the families of those who lost their loved ones, and to the state in general, and to us as a nation. We've actually lost a whole lot of people. Every life matters.
Of course.
The number no longer frightens us anymore, but that also has not made us lose the sight that these lives are valuable. So for me, that news came to me as a big time surprise, because I felt we would have gotten to the point where we have control over some of these issues. But by the day, it feels like it is beyond us, it's beyond our security agencies. We recently had an invasion, in quotes. The military said it was a mistake. When we had an issue in Kaduna, that it was a mistake. Lives were lost. We had a few people get to Kaduna to commiserate with the families. Whether you like it or not, every life we lose on daily basis affects somebody. It may not affect you as a person directly,
exactly,
but there's somebody grieving somewhere. Today may not be you, but it could be somebody close to you tomorrow.
And the psyche that comes with children growing up.
The whole idea, I've been meaning to travel to Jos to do a few things as it relates to some of the things we do. I've not been able to put myself together to make that trip, because every day I feel that's a killing field. Would I run into something? How is the attack like? Well, I talk to people and they tell you everything is fine. But there's something in my subconscious that makes me believe everything isn't fine. You know, a whole lot has to be put in place. as a nation, we should be able to build confidence in the people. Now, our leaders should understand that they swore to an oath to protect lives and properties. They are failing by the day. And I think we're not doing enough as a people to hold these people responsible and accountable for the people that the lives that are being lost on daily basis. We accept whatever they tell us on TV. When there's an attack, we condemn. You hear stories like, I am shocked, I am surprised. How can you be shocked? How can you be surprised? What happens to our intelligence agencies? Are we saying these things took us by surprise? It's not possible under heaven. If they were intelligent, why were they not acted upon? If there were no intelligence, what are we doing to boost intelligence gathering as a nation? A lot has got to be done. We budget every year monies for security, and then it feels like that is not yielding as much. People should be held accountable. Somebody has got to leave office because of some of this. Until we begin to value the lives of Nigerians, I think these things will keep continuing this way. And
like you just mentioned right now, what is happening? Do we have that trust between citizens? And unfortunately, we also read that according to the Amnesty International that said this slaughter, really, there's no other better word for it, went on for 48 hours. What could have happened? Our community is so porous that we could not really, there is at no point could they get help. 48 hours.
How can you have a situation of that magnitude running for more than 5 hours? And then there was no help in sight.
Presence.
How can you, and then 48 hours, 2 straight days,
27 communities.
27 communities.
At what point could they have
nobody is held responsible at this point? So it's madness.
People know something.
People know something.
So why
somebody knows something?
What's that disconnect? Why are we not getting to these perpetrators? I think, why are people not able to say?
Our leaders should be able to answer this question, because it's not like those communities are not accessible. It's not like there are no network, telephone. It's not possible. Now, even if the federal government claims ignorance, there's a local government, there's a state government. What did they do? Yes, they may not be able to do so much as a state, but having that information would have helped them mobilize federal might to be able to curb that situation. There is no explanation to this. It only tells that we are degenerating by the day into anarchy.
Well, my concern exactly is what you just mentioned. There's no explanation.
There's no explanation to this.
I asked the security expert to what end. I can understand what the kidnappers are doing. It's for ransom, maybe to get money out of it. But when you ravage a community, is it ethnic? Is it religious? Is it political? What is indeed going on? And it doesn't seem like we have answers to exactly what happened.
I am not the one who had said that. A leader in this country once said, any crisis that runs beyond 24 hours has the input of the leaders in that crisis. Now, I would want to see there is more to this crisis than meets the eyes. There's so much we need to unravel, because it's not possible that with the level of intelligence we have as a nation, nobody is being brought to book at this point. Yet we go about our normal businesses like nothing happened. It's normal. We're done. We're used to that now. It's normal. It's one of those things. So we've moved on. Everybody has moved on. Yet we have families that are grieving. We have people who had lost the whole of their existence, the whole of their livelihood. You know, communities have been sacked, villages have been moved, people can no longer go to their ancestral homes. Jos used to be a place where people would want to go to. There was a time I took a trip to Jos. I left Jos at about past 7 in the night to get to Abuja. Now, it used to be that peaceful, it used to be that safe. But how many people can bear that today? How many of these people can look back and say, where I want to go for holiday is in Jos, Plateau State? So I think there's more to this whole drama. That informed why young people were in desperate need for a change of leadership. But I don't think the present crop of leaders had proven any difference. It just feels like it's a continuation of what had actually happened in the past, and we're still on the same path. And this is going to continue for a very long time. I don't see any commitment from government to want to end this. Like you said, if kidnapping is for ransom, so this is for what? It's one question that begs for answers, and nobody is giving us that answer. When such issues happen, you see people running helter-skelter, news agencies everywhere, everybody is taking the news and they tell us to be calm. How long are we going to be
community without after that?
How long? What they should understand is that our patience is running out as a people. We are losing lives by the day. So it's high time they sit up. It's high time we sit up as a nation. It's high time our leaders sit up and address this matter once and for all.
Exactly.
If it is for political reasons, they should settle their political differences. They shouldn't use the lives of poor, innocent Nigerians to settle political disputes. If it's for whatever reason, that should be resolved. Just is not like at the extreme part of Nigeria where you feel our borders are porous. They're bounded by states. So if there is any intrusion from a state, this state should know. Plateau State of all states shouldn't be the place where we are saying we don't know where these people came from. No. There's no track. There's no. I don't think if it's for states in the northeast that are the far end of the borders, we understand. But for Plateau states, it's
okay. So let's go back to what we brought us here, because experts are suing for peace. The government is suing for peace, and among everything, we know that this is within the young people in Nigeria to indeed have that sustainable peace we keep talking about over and over. We have mentioned the many problems and flaws in our government. However, is the hope for peace completely lost?
No, it's not. We have hope for peace, but only if we have sincerity of purpose from our leaders. We believed we would have peace, and that was why we went all out to have a change of government. We had hope that we will live in safety. That was why we wanted a change by all means.
Exactly.
We felt we needed an infusion of a more younger generation, a more vibrant team. This administration parades some of the best brains, young minds. We shouldn't have the same results we had in the previous administrations. So we have hope, and we hope these people sit up, our leaders sit up, and then address these issues holistically. We used to be scared that most of the previous administrations were answerable to people, so they couldn't stand up to them, especially if some of these people have a hand in some of these things. We never can tell, or they had people who were connected to them in one way or the other, something. We felt, okay, they were scared to stand up to these people. The current president has no godfather, so he's not scared to stand up to nothing. He should be able to sit up as the man who he's always been and who we've always believed he is, to address these issues. There were brewing crises in Rivers State. He intervened. He called a meeting, addressed the matter. Calm is returning to the state to a large extent. He should do the same thing with security. I am thinking this nation should have, at this point, same way a state of emergency was declared on agric or on food security, we should do the same thing in security. Go all out to ensure that people can sleep with their two eyes closed.
How does that happen? Because we've also talked about the non-kinetic and kinetic ways of simultaneously tackling this attacks. However, it seems like we have peculiarities. I mean, the Southeast has its peculiarities of attacks and crisis security breaches. We also have the West having pockets of it there, here and there. And recently, I mean, we read about the Northern elders also crying out that this is one too many. We cannot have this as well. So when you say the president should sit up, having also heard him address our service chiefs and speaking to them, encouraging them to go all out, what else can the president do? The 2024 appropriation budget also had security having the largest chunk, the lion's share, as some people had referred to it. What else would you expect the president, who's just one person, to do?
I think we're tired of all of these rhetorics of and all of this, your big grammar of his kinetic, his non-kinetic, his story is not. We're tired of all these things. Right. At this point, theories are no longer helping us. If what you had always known is no longer working, find out what is working and get to work. If what we've always known that has to do with order, that has to do with your principle, and it's not working, change the system. It is madness to expect a result different from what you've always gotten if you still do the same thing over and over and over again. This kinetic thing, you've been hearing it for as long as these security challenges have lasted. This non-kinetic, you've been hearing it for as long as these security challenges have lasted. Carrot and stick, we have had it and we are tired of all of those stories. We're tired of these stories. The man who is dying or who had lost a loved one is not interested in how you want to get the perpetrators to book. All he's interested is give him justice. So the story of when we go, we use the air, we use the land, we are not interested in all of those stories. Get to work. However you want to get it. If you want to use spies, use. If you want to do undercover, do. If you want to fly in the air, whatever medium you want to use, we want results. Nigerians are yearning for results. Give them the largest share. I don't want to believe that certain people are making some good money out of this crisis. But let me assume that is not the position. But what I'm thinking is, or what I'm saying is, we should get to the table and find solutions to what is happening. My take would be there should be more infusion of the ordinary Nigerians into the system, into the formation. At some point, we recommended community policing,
right,
state policing. We have fought it, we have argued it, we have refused it. Isn't it obvious that it is one of the things that could help us? I'll give you an instance. In Cross River State, at some point, there was kidnapping on your way to Calabar. It became so rampant that people became scared of traveling that road. Once you leave Calabar through Odupani, you can't travel that route at certain point. You know, I had an opportunity to travel to Obudu, and you need to see the speed on which drivers were running.
Yes.
And that
I even got to a point where a lot of them will stop.
Yes,
and tell you,
you know,
it was that bad.
So one of these days I was in a convoy, and then we were running. So I said, well, you guys with all this convoy, you are still scared of. I said, those guys are no respecter of persons. Exactly. But guess what? The National Youth Council president or chairman in the state had to summon the youth leaders of those communities and told them it is an insult on their office that right under their nostrils, certain people are coming from outside to do this in their community. It's not heard of. Because there can be no effective development of about these things without a collaboration with youths from those communities. You cannot have any successful operation without an insider. Exactly. It is absolutely not true. So he said they should get to work. He needs results. He mobilized the young people. It was the young people who now, maybe with the state government's intervention and effort, that brought that crisis to a halt. Now you can travel that route with ease. The government can do the same thing. We have youth scattered everywhere who are doing nothing. Why not engage them? Let them be part of this security network. Let them be part of this security system. Let them give you information. Let them be part of this whole system. We can do it. We have what it takes to actually bring security. It's just that we do not have the sincerity of purpose to bring an end to security crisis. If we make up our mind that we want to get it done, we will actually get it done. Would there be bad eggs? Yes. Would there be sacred cows? Yes. But we are ready to sacrifice the bad eggs to get results. Nigeria should not be termed a failing state. And the truth about it is, without security, there can be no meaningful development. Everything we are trying to build on, whether it is economic development, whether it's attracting foreign investors and all that, whatever you want to do is tied to security. A lot of companies are folding up. There are places they cannot go and set up their companies, no matter how fertile that place is, because of security issues. If there's a state that is having kidnapping and banditry and all of those things, you think you can set up a refinery there when there will be expatriates that will be coming in and overnight there are no more? Nobody wants to risk his life. So I think government has a part to play. Our leaders have so much. It still boils down to them having it as top priority, getting down to the basics and insisting that young people should be involved in this whole system. Ensure that they are preserved, ensure that they are protected, ensure that the information they bring is not roped around them. Young people are scared to say certain things. You don't know if you were going for it. So we should make them understand that they will be protected. At some point we came up with the whistleblower thing. Did you work? Yes, it did. At some point, yes, to an extent, we got some money recovered. We can do the same thing with security. We will get these people. Another thing is that where there is no value, there will be vices.
So how do we revive this value? Because we keep talking about how we are losing value.
Young people are jobless. Young people are hungry. Young people are losing it. So it's high time we need to get back to the drawing board. Look at the Christmas season. It's celebrated like a ghost celebration. Everybody was on the low. Everybody looked moody. Everybody was angry.
Really?
Yes. And that's you, because I think you had some palliative from government.
No, I didn't. Okay. But I just had a good time.
You had a good time. All right. So some of us didn't. We expected much more.
What was the expectation really?
We expected a turnaround.
In what exactly?
The economic situation. The hike was just astronomical.
You mean in
everything?
Inflation.
Food inflation, transportation. We were told that we were giving 50% whatever to travel. How many people got it?
How many people didn't?
A lot of people didn't. I know very well of certain companies who came out to tell us that they've not gotten the money. So anybody who is traveling with their company should have their monies complete.
But these are people who also accepted that the government they were going to collaborate with the government.
Did the government give them money?
Are these people not going to come back to still collect monies?
When would they collect the money? Is it after the Christmas celebration? Well, it's high time we should, like I said, let's not do things to buy the sentiments of people, the excitement of people. Oh, they've declared that it's 50%. We are all happy and we are all on the street. And then we are getting to the park, and then the reality dawns on us that it is actually a flux. It is high time we get to the point where we tell ourselves, if we can't do it, we can't do it. If we can do it, we should do it. There's no gainsaying to the fact that things were difficult to get for people. We had palliatives everywhere. How many people got it? A few people would have, but the vast majority didn't. The prices of things were crazy. Movement was difficult. A lot of people, there's no argument to the fact that it's hard times for people. People are going through a whole lot. You have so many people who are mentally drained. So everybody is just being careful with everyone because the outburst can be on anyone.
Exactly.
So everywhere. So people are just, it's just that we've got to celebrate. If not, on a lighter mood, they would have moved the date of Christmas. Maybe it would have given them more time, yes, to celebrate. But what I'm saying is, if we continue like this, you are driving these young people crazy. People are being turned out of from school every day. Well, as much as I don't advocate that people should wait for government jobs, even those who are wanting to start their own businesses, do they have the level playing ground, the level playing field to start up this business? Do people have the economic power to even pay for your services? It's getting bad, it's getting gloomy by the day. But is there hope at the end of the tunnel? Absolutely.
Then we'll go for a short break. We'll go for a short break to talk about this hope that you have, after giving us those exasperating facts and what the young people are facing. I'm just happy you have hope, and then we'll go for a short break to return to talk about this hope for peace, sustainable peace, especially when we are seeing tempers flaring. We'll be back. This is Joy Asonye Live. Welcome back. This is still Joy Asonye Live. We've been discussing peace. How can we achieve peace? How can we get young people to become peace ambassadors so that we don't have this conflict and crisis? We've been recording in pockets across Nigeria rather. Well, that's what we've been discussing. In the studio with me is Jeremiah Agala. He's a peace ambassador. We've used the first half hour to talk about this disparaging and unfortunate situation when it comes to this period and what young people are facing. Now we have gotten to the hope where we could get peaceful resolutions and how young people can also join hands in rebuilding our nation with all the peace building efforts that he also has developed. Thank you again for being part of the program, Jeremiah.
It's a privilege. Thank you so much.
Yes, you had, you were dramatic with when you said, if. So I'm sorry if I cut your thought process there, but if you can just catch up to that hope, where is that hope that we long for?
The truth about it is, while we had looked up to government for this long and they are not actually forthcoming, young people must actually take their destinies into their hands and then sit up. We can't keep waiting for them. But the government too should understand that they need to create a system that works. And then it's an all-encompassing thing. So it's not about just government, it's not about just young people. Everybody has to, all hands has to be on deck to make sure this works. So for me, I would actually say to young people, take your destinies into your hands. Get busy, get creative. In search for hope, in search for peace, was what led to young people leaving this country in droves. Doctors left, young people left, teachers left,
professionals,
in search of hope. So rather than slide into vices, they had something. So I'll say to every young person listening to us, get a skill. Go through this phase of hunger. Build yourself. I wouldn't say leave the country, because every great nation is actually built by young people. We can sit back here and build this nation. We can, with all of this crisis we face, gather the pieces of our lives and build something beautiful. They built the movie industry without the input of government.
Or maybe too little input.
Little input. They built the music industry. So generally the entertainment industry was built by them. And it's working. Young people are getting into agriculture these days. Even with the insecurity situation, we are still doing our best. So whilst we are grappling with all of these issues and hoping I'm praying that one day government will look in the direction of putting systems in place. We should begin to take advantage of the times. The truth about it is, this is the best time to be a Nigerian. That's the truth about it.
Why is that?
Because opportunities abound in this country as at today. Even if I have an opportunity to leave this country today, I wouldn't, in all sincerity.
Or maybe just return afterwards.
I wouldn't even want to take a long break from this country. There will be too much of a disconnect for me. I like the flow of events, and there's so much of desire, there's so much anticipation in my subconscious that this country is going to get better. I want to see it. I want to see that better place I anticipate unfold before my very eyes. I want to be proud to say I was part of the process. I knew when it was bad. I know where we have gotten to. I know my input, my effort in getting us to this point. So I would say to young people, there's hope. Let's sit back. Let's build. Nobody will take this country away from us. Whether bandits, whether kidnappers, they won't take this country away. We will sit down and we will look back for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, and there will be no case of banditry. There will be no case of insecurity. We will get to that point as a nation. So we've got to take our destinies into our hands as young people. Let's sit up. It will be easy. It's not going to be easy. Some of us are building a whole lot without. Somebody once said to me, a senior friend, he said, Jerry, you know, the things you do, you may not get so much support from government right now because you are driving towards peace. Right. You want a united nation. You want to empower young people. They won't look in your direction. But if you were one of these people that are causing chaos, they would have called you a long time ago.
And some people already know that.
So this is a wrong psych. But I'm saying to young people, the best part to have taken or to take is in the part of building peace. We can only do it for ourselves. I can be the only person to talk to young people. I understand where we are. I wasn't born into a rich home. I wasn't born with silver spoon. I wasn't born with any special privilege anywhere. So building from the scratch and doing some of the things we do, it means anybody can do it. So imagine if you have a replication of my kind across the nation, we would have gone a long way ahead.
You had mentioned something very important as well, which was the eroding values that is imbibed in our young people.
That is what some of us are still trying to sustain. We keep having conferences. I'm sure you're aware of some of the conferences we have. And we keep instilling those values. We keep the Inspiring Youth Africa Initiative would always tell you that there is nobody that has monopoly of challenges. That you have a challenge today, somebody else had it and went through it and became successful. So you can do it. You can do it without soiling your hands. So these are the things we keep instilling in young people, and we've had successes in that direction. I only hope we can have more young people reach out to young people to inspire them. We are losing faith in leaders. That's the truth. There are certain meetings, certain leaders will call, I won't go because I feel there is no sincerity of purpose. Yes. You know, they want to come and maybe gather us and then begin to build us in the direction of politics. 2027 is by the corner. So a lot of people are beginning to build bridges towards 2027, and once that is done, we abandon. But a young person like me who is aspiring for nothing, I don't want to be a politician, I don't want to be a leader anywhere. My assignment is to raise young people, instill these values, build them, sustain them. Make sure we are one Nigeria, irrespective of what anybody feels or say. Irrespective of what our politicians make us believe, that we are divided by religion, by ethnicity, by tribe, by state, by whatever. I still believe we are one.
There's color as well.
Okay, there's even color. Maybe there's gender too. With time, it's school come. But whatever it is, we are united.
Exactly.
We didn't do this. We didn't bring this unity together. We were not the ones that actually brought Nigeria together. God agreed to having us as Nigeria. The truth is, whatever we can't achieve as a nation united, we cannot achieve it divided.
Exactly.
We will still go with this same mindset. So for those who are believing that it's because we are still together, maybe when we separate, the truth is that this mindset is still going to be in us. Even there, we will still be divided by states. My state was not given the lion's share. We didn't get the Senate president. We didn't get. There will still be that infighting. So the truth is, we should sit together as a nation. We should solve our problems and make this nation great again, unitedly. We cannot do it going our separate ways. So for us, we will keep preaching that message. We will keep talking to young people. That's our assignment. We are not going back. We will watch this nation unfold. We will watch Nigeria become the giant of Africa, which we've always been called.
And then it can actually become the giant of Africa.
And even become the giant of the world. Well, because recently I was looking at a study that we have what it takes to feed the world, not just Africa. So we can become the giant of the world. Beyond oil, beyond gas, beyond whatever that is generating funds. Now we would one day become that city where the world will come to want to come and eat from. So we are watching it unfold. This is only a phase. As much as I'm not excited about how much our government is doing, I feel they can do more. I still believe that this land is the land of opportunities, and anybody can rise and anybody can go
I'm
there.
happy you shared the story in Cross River State where a youth-led organization did something about the security problem. But how can government enhance the participation of youth-led organizations such as that?
The truth about it is that government must get to the point where we see that some people are around them for what they can get. Some of the genuine people who actually do the work are not actually around government houses. Some people are just there as loyalists. Some people are there as praise singers. Some people are even gathering titles without impact. So it's high time they go to the grassroots. Look for people. We have several organizations that can partner with government to make sure these things work. So if we have the sincerity of purpose, we could see through conversations. We could see through some of these visits, this courtesy visit. We could see through these things. And then partner with people who can actually get involved and have already bought the trust of young people. There are certain people that if they bring any issue as it relates to peace or a conversation, they wouldn't listen, even though they are young people, because they know this is for a particular, But there are people who, when we say, let's have a conversation, young people are eager to listen because they know, okay, these people are genuine. So over the years, they've built the trust of young people. They already know that these guys can actually mediate for them. So I think government should look beyond some of these fantasies, some of this glamour of we are coming for a courtesy visit, we are a youth organization, we have different funny names and all that, and then look for young people who can actually get to do this work. Right. They are young people who can.
So how do you separate them? How do you filter these young people?
If you want to get them, you will.
How do you get them? Because everybody has beautiful writings all over the place. Even the reputable, seemingly reputable youth organizations.
It's not about writing. It's not about writing. Young people know their people. I know one or two who I can tell you, if you work with this, they would work.
Right.
Young people on the street know. They've been doing things over the years without government influence. For somebody to have sustained the program for over 10 years without one intervention from government, without an ambition to become anything politically, what do you think the person is looking for? Grants? Never applied for grant for over 10 years? What is the person looking for? Then you have used your personal fund to just instill values. What is he looking for? Okay. There are several organizations that are into that. So they are not doing it because of what they want to get from any international. It's just about passion. It's just about belief. It's just about faith in this country. Believing that one day it will work. That's why they are doing the things they are doing. So you can find them. They are always there.
Right. So now how can the media, harness all these things you have said to push this peace agenda? It is more important now because when you some of the justification for that attack, especially in Plateau State, was that somewhere non-indigenous, and this is Nigeria. Everyone has the right to live anywhere. There's freedom of movement. So these are those nuances and those ill morals that people already have. How can we do more, especially in the media?
You know, when people are not punished for wrongdoing, they feel it is right. And when judgment is delayed, people lose faith. Now, so much is supposed to be done with regards to prosecution, getting these people who are perpetrating this evil, not just getting them, but let's see that justice is being served. Now, the media should help us insist that until justice is done, they will not rest. It means they've got to strengthen conversations around this. They would call you all sorts of names.
Of course.
Some will say you are chasing cloud, you are chasing cheap popularity. Whatever it is you're chasing, ensure. We were talking about some foreign movies earlier. I also know that there are certain people that they will make up their mind that even if it will take 30 years, 40 years, they will follow up a matter until it's logical conclusion. Mm-hmm. Now, let's get to that point where somebody sits up and said, just this last, I must find out, mm-hmm. even if it means staking your life to getting justice for these people. It will go a long way building faith in young people, building faith in the Nigerian people.
Exactly.
So the media has so much to do with regards to sustaining conversation around peace building. Many times, until we have attacks like this, mm-hmm. Joy Asonye will not invite me to talk about peace building.
I feel personally attacked.
Forgive me. Mm. Many times, the media will not talk about peace building until it is peace day. We wait for when there is trouble and then we react. We make so much noise around it, and then a lot of other people will not say anything to it until maybe it's close to them. So for me, I think if we can do more with regards to sustaining conversation, having conferences, having engagement, having stakeholders meeting, these communities, nothing will be heard about them again until there is another attack. Now, what are we doing to empower these people to know when there's an intruder, this is what to do, this is how to do it, this is how to go about it? Now, don't forget, these people are already living in fear. So there's something about their psyche that even if they return back to that land, they may not be able to say so much. Even when there's an intruder, everybody is talking in his room and everybody is, but they can't confront anybody because they don't know who they want to talk to. So there's so much we have got to do, not just as the media, but as a people. Wow. Let's sustain conversation. Let's get them involved. Some time ago, some of the young people in Kaduna came out and they were becoming vocal about the insecurity situation. Their voice were not heard. At some point, we will have even some people come to the media and counter them. They are making empty noise. A lot of things goes on. So for me, it still boils down to us all being sincere that we want to end insecurity. Once we can all agree that we want to end insecurity, I think all hands will be on deck. So we would all have a united voice fighting this monster called insecurity.
I'm happy you have talked about how all of us can, come together and fight this. But what is the government is supposed to do at this point? Because when we look at our orientation agency, we just think it has really reached those people to remember that we are all Nigerians. We do not have to fight each other. Is the government doing enough when it comes to orientation, really?
Sorry, do we have an orientation agency?
Actually, Nigeria does have an orientation agency and has had it for a very long time now. I'm not sure when it was established, but I can tell you it's been several years, way before I was born.
Actually, we've not seen their impact. That's why it looks like they are existing, and yet we don't know. So, maybe they need to step up their game. Maybe. Or maybe they are doing the best they can within the limited resources they have. I wouldn't know. So I'm not condemning them, but I'm also not praising them. They've not done enough. They've got to do more. We've had several engagements where we've reached out to the National Orientation Agency, and then even to come out, we are not saying bring money. We are not saying just come out.
Send resource.
Send, in fact, be present and tell us what you plan to do. Even if you don't do it, just tell us what you plan to do.
Even if you don't do
even
it.
if you don't do it,
Okay.
they are more busier than even the presidency. So their DG is busy somewhere, yet we don't see impact, we don't get results. What has been said about the crisis in Jos from their office? Nothing, absolutely. Maybe they've said, I've not seen. What are they doing to actually build values in young people? Nothing, absolutely. Pocket of events here and there without impact. This is an agency that is supposed to follow through conversations as it relates to Nigeria being united. This is supposed to be an agency that is supposed to announce, inform us about government policies. We barely hear. They are only loud when it comes to electioneering, period. They tell us to not fight and vote the right candidate, and many times the right candidate in their estimation has to be the government in power, because they have to. But that's not true.
It's unnecessary.
Oh, okay.
Nobody really pushes a candidate to you.
It's okay, but get involved in the assignment you were created for. I'm sure you know, National Orientation Agency was not created for politics.
Of course not.
Good. So push the agenda within the years you are in government. We barely hear anything from them. They've got to step up their game. They've got to do more. We want to hear from them. That's all I'm saying. I don't know what they are vendoring. I don't know what they are pushing out, but they should push something more. People want to hear what they are up to. What are they doing? What is happening in Jos as at today? What should we be doing next?
Yeah, exactly.
What should we expect? Is the government going to intervene? Tell us something. Even the Ministry of Information, what have they done?
So finally, before I let you go, traditional leaders, have they done enough when it comes to fostering this peace?
No.
What should be done, and how can government...
Traditional rulers are becoming too political, and it is affecting their domain. And anyone that wants to stand out is victimized. That too should have more engagements. When it comes to security, the traditional rulers, the local government chairmen have got to be involved. They should understand that government will come and go, but their seat remains. These people look up to them. They are the people, their subjects trust much more than they would trust politicians. They are making us lose faith by the day and trust in them. Traditional rulers have got to sit up and take the fight of peace building seriously. They've got to take security matters seriously. I'm waiting for a traditional ruler to come and sit in Abuja and say, I'm not going back to my place until this matter is resolved in my domain. I'm waiting for a traditional ruler to come to Abuja and say, Inspector General of Police, if you are not coming to my state, I am not leaving your office. Let the media carry him. I'm ready to lose my crown, but I want my people saved. But we see everybody sitting fat, eating large, enjoying themselves, not wanting to talk because they are scared. The governor might remove them because you've got to align with the state governor to sustain your seat. So anything goes. Whatever they are told to say is what they say. Yeah, they know the truth. So I think that institution has got to be strengthened. More activity should be given to them, more roles. In fact, maybe security matters as it relates to the local community should be handed over to them. They should sit up. But you know, government and governors will not do that because they are scared. They have control over the people if you put that in their hands. And then if they don't do well, their second term will not be guaranteed.
Wow.
Or their successor may not get the seat. So they threaten them with, I will take you out if you don't do my bidding. So they are cowed into keeping silent.
a culture of silence continues
so it
over
continues
and over.
And then we keep having this same impunity repeat itself over and again. So I think much more needs to be done. That office needs to be strengthened to be able to address security issues.
Thank you so much, Jeremiah Agala, for being part of today's edition. It's always interesting to hear you talk so passionately about issues around peace. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
This is where we draw the curtains on Joy Asonye Live. It's been an interesting edition talking about how we can get sustainable peace, but I hope you've gotten a word or two on how you too can participate in ensuring peace in your community. My father would always say, if we all sweep the front of our houses, the whole country will be clean. Having said that, rest assured we'll be back tomorrow with so much more, but do have a restful evening.